It's the season of giving, and also the season of discarding. Millions of phones, laptops, and gadgets are quietly being thrown away right now. Most will never be recycled properly. Authorities say this surge happens every year during the holidays. Old electronics are replaced with new gifts, but the hidden cost is mounting fast. Environmental risks, data security threats, and global supply chain consequences are all colliding at once. As the situation continues to develop, officials are once again urging the public to pay attention to what happens after the upgrade. The weeks around the holiday season consistently trigger one of the largest spikes in electronic waste. Consumers receive new devices. Older ones are pushed into drawers, trash bins, or informal resale markets. What may seem like a small personal decision quickly scales into a national and international problem. Authorities estimate millions of tons of electronic waste are generated annually, with a significant portion concentrated around year-end replacement cycles. These devices contain valuable materials like copper, lithium, cobalt, and rare earth elements. They also contain hazardous substances such as lead, mercury, and flame retardants. When improperly handled, those materials can contaminate soil, water, and air. With the volume rising, environmental agencies say their monitoring systems are under growing pressure. Recycling facilities report seasonal overloads, collection programs struggle to keep pace, and informal recycling channels often step in where regulated systems fall short. With the immediate environmental concerns in focus, officials are also warning about another growing risk: data security. Many discarded devices still contain personal information, photos, passwords, financial records. Even after deletion, data can often be recovered if devices are not properly wiped. Law enforcement agencies say this creates opportunities for identity theft, fraud, and cybercrime. As a result, authorities are reminding consumers that recycling electronics is not just an environmental issue, it is also a public safety concern. With the area now secured at regulated recycling centers, inspectors are increasing oversight during peak disposal periods. Facilities handling e-waste are subject to stricter documentation requirements. Chain of custody records are being reviewed, and compliance checks are being expanded to ensure devices are processed responsibly. Beyond the immediate response, officials are also examining the role of corporate policies and user agreements. Many consumers are unaware that device manufacturers and service providers outline specific responsibilities in their terms of service. These agreements often place the burden of proper disposal on the user. They may also limit liability once a device leaves authorized channels. Consumer protection agencies say this has become a growing point of concern. As devices become more complex, so do the consequences of improper disposal. Batteries can ignite during transport, components can be extracted under unsafe conditions, and unregulated exports can shift environmental harm to developing regions. International regulators are closely watching cross-border movement of electronic waste. Despite existing restrictions, shipments continue to be flagged for violations. Some are mislabeled, others are routed through intermediary ports. Authorities say the holiday surge increases the risk of illegal exports slipping through the system. Looking ahead, policymakers are evaluating whether current regulations are sufficient. Some experts argue that existing frameworks were designed for a different era, an era with fewer devices, longer product lifespans, and less embedded data. Industry analysts note that the average consumer now replaces devices far more frequently. Software updates slow older hardware. Batteries degrade faster. Repair options remain limited or costly. All of this feeds into a cycle of accelerated disposal. As the conversation continues, environmental groups are pushing for stronger producer responsibility rules. These would require manufacturers to play a larger role in end-of-life management. Others advocate for clearer consumer education at the point of sale, including plain language explanations of recycling obligations and data risks. With public awareness campaigns ramping up, officials say they are watching consumer behavior closely. Drop-off rates, participation in certified programs, and compliance with safety guidelines. Each metric helps determine where enforcement or outreach needs to increase. At the same time, technology experts are exploring solutions that could reduce future waste. Modular designs, longer software support windows, standardized charging components. But adoption remains uneven across the industry. As this season unfolds, authorities stress that every device has a life cycle. What happens at the end of that life cycle carries consequences far beyond a single household. Environmental stability, data security, and international responsibility are now tightly linked. And as agencies continue monitoring recycling flows, compliance levels, and cross-border movement, officials say the coming weeks will be critical in determining how effectively systems respond to the annual surge, how enforcement adapts, and whether long-standing gaps in oversight begin to narrow as pressure on the e-waste pipeline continues to build.